roaming in. Stragglers come roaming in as I get started. Brooke, you are the example. Thank you. Welcome to our first joint high school, middle school FBLA meeting. Just for those of you who don't know me, my name is Franklin Kimack. I am the computer teacher here at West Middle School, and I've been part of FBLA my entire teaching career. This is year 19 for me. I got involved with FBLA back when I was in high school. I did it throughout college. This is the biggest reason why I went into education, is to be able to continue to work with this organization. I did 12 years at Grundy County High School when I first started, so I'm very familiar with the high school level of FBLA as an advisor. This is year 7 down here at West Middle School for me. I guess since this is 19, in the 18 years of doing FBLA, I have had 7 high school national winners and 12 middle school national winners. And just because I like to brag, if you are one of my national winners, please go ahead and raise your hand. So we got 2 of them here for this time. 3.
No.
She didn't raise her hand. Woo, raise your hand. Acknowledged. It is an accomplishment, whether it's at the middle school or the high school level. This year I have branched over and I am now a co-advisor with the high school chapter. I've been able to show that Tullahoma has a lot of, I don't know the word I want to use here. We can be competitive. We are ranked right up there with everybody else in the nation. The high school has never had an FBLA national winner since the high school went back to FBLA in, I think it was 2007. I want to change that. We've had 12 winners here. Why can we not get them to win there? So this year I'm getting to come in, step in, and try to help the high school organization, reach those goals and those achievements. At the high school, my co-advisor is Mr. Will Hayden. He cannot be here tonight. They are getting ready for a playoff football game tomorrow night. So I'm handling this meeting here. Tonight's meeting, the reason why I asked y'all here is just to kind of talk about what the cost between state and national is going to be. In the 18 years, I've taken students everywhere from Baltimore to Chicago, Atlanta, Orlando, San Antonio. This will be my 3rd trip as an advisor this will be my 4th trip as an advisor taking students to Anaheim, California. This is the big year. This is the year that students tend to want to go to nationals more than any other year, especially here in the state of Tennessee. I treat this year differently than every other year because of the competitive nature of the season and because of the costs that are associated with going to California. Chicago a few years ago, I think it was like $600 for us to go. Atlanta, it was like $500. Orlando last year, I think it was $800. This year, it's a lot more, and we will kind of get to that here in a few moments. First thing I want to talk about, though, is state. Can't get to nationals without going to state. State conference, Sunday, April the 6th through Wednesday, April the 9th. It is in Chattanooga. We will leave out, and I'll leave those dates up there for just another second. We will start registering for regionals late January, maybe very early February. At that point, we will have the hard information of this is what I can tell y'all on where we've submitted to stay for our hotels, the exact cost behind it. Right now, everything is an estimate. FBLA for the high school level is doing their regional events. I took 2 high schoolers today to regionals at Nissan Stadium. The next 3 regionals are after ours. So we were kind of the guinea pigs first run there. So not a lot of information was given to us then. I'm trying to pull from what little bit we have and numbers based off of last year. Just kind of the schedule of what those 4 days look like. That Sunday is a travel day. We'll set a time, we'll leave out from the high school, we'll go to Chattanooga. There is a good chance that the high school and the middle school will be at separate hotels. That's why, again, co-advisor, going to be over there with the high school chapter. I will be primarily with the middle school chapter, but I will still be trying to coordinate and organize both as we go along with it. But that Sunday's the travel day. Monday, we go in, we have opening session. A lot of the students compete that afternoon. That night, there'll be some sort of fun activity. Tuesday, you'll have finals in some events, and then the rest of the competitive events that morning. That afternoon, there'll be a voting delegate session for 2 or 3 of our members who will do that, and then award session is that Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, if we can find some sort of educational activity to do Wednesday morning in Chattanooga, we'll probably go and do that to justify us still being there. And then we will head back, stop for either a late breakfast, early lunch, and then get back to the high school approximately somewhere between 1 and 2 that evening or that afternoon. Students will not have to go back to class that afternoon unless they just desperately want to. Here at the middle school, we will have a middle school drop-off that day too, so we'll stop at the high school first, then come over to the middle school and drop off my group here. Definitely here, go home. High schoolers, you may be in a dual enrollment or an AP or something that you desperately need to be there for, and you may elect to stay. Again, that choice is yours, but you are excused for the rest of the day. As we get closer to state, we will have another meeting where I can go through exact details on packing, forms, hotels, all of that fun stuff. What is the estimated cost? Registration, $75. That's what it was last year. Talking to Mr. Buchanan, who is our state advisor today, he does not anticipate that cost going up. So that is where we are there. Hotel. Last year, every hotel was set at $192 a night. Didn't matter which one you got, rates were the same across the board. He does feel like that the rates will go up $2 or $3, and I was like, well, you know what? We'll just round it off at an even $200 and just go with that there. We do try to put 4 people in a room. That is not always possible. So sometimes we wind up with an odd number of rooms. Sometimes it's, we have 4, 4, and 3, depending upon, what we have. We cannot charge students who are 4 to a room as a 4 split, and then the unfortunate ones that wound up 3 to a room, a third of a split. So I cannot say exactly what the split of the rooms will be yet. We will know once we get numbers registered, and it will be somewhere between, just saying $600 per room. You split it by 4. I don't know what that.
150.
150 would be your low. If we do it 3 to a room, it's 200. So you're looking at between 150 to 200. I do not anticipate us having 3 in every single room. So hopefully that number will be a little bit lower there. Middle school end, we have exactly 16, 8 boys, 8 girls. I did not plan it that way. It just happened, and I was like, yes, miracles. So, hey, I can kind of tell you what that was going to already look like. We do go ahead and add on a $20 bus transportation fee because we do have to pay for a bus and driver to take us and a bus and a driver to bring us home. Now, in years past, our CTE director has been very kind to pay for that, so we don't have to, but we always begin to work that into our cost and then hope it goes away. Again, we will know something when we meet again late January, early February. Money for food, that's usually on the students. Depending upon the high school or middle school chapter and funds that are available, there are times where the chapter is able to pay for a meal or 2. There are times that we, order pizzas and say that's it. So we usually say, hey, make sure your students bring money with them for food. You're looking at a Sunday night dinner, and then 3 meals Monday, Tuesday, and then breakfast/lunch on Wednesday. The hotel the middle school was able to get last year had a continental breakfast to it. The middle school is definitely requesting that hotel again this year. Middle school does get priority on hotel assignments because of us having different dynamics than the high schoolers. You know, it is different putting 3 18-year-olds into a hotel room versus putting 3 12-year-olds into a hotel room. So we get a little more leniency on how we do that, where we can make sure we have chaperones in rooms across the hall or connected. So we get a little more leniency on which hotel we get to pick. High school, it is a lottery system. Do you remember? Did y'all have last pick last year?
We were in D group last year.
Okay.
We still got our first bid.
So high school was in the last group, which I think makes them be able to pick first this year. So if that's the case, I am going to request they get the same room as the middle school, and maybe cross our fingers it works out. That'll make life easy for everybody, with especially having free breakfast every single morning. Nationals. Top 4 in every event. Middle school and high school advances to nationals. Last year, the entire West Middle School chapter made it to nationals. High school level,
about 75%.
About 75%. So, you know, good success rate both ways. But top 4 moves on to nationals. Now, in years past, there has been opportunities that if a student in the top 4 drops out, we are able to bump somebody up to fill those spots. I cannot guarantee that that will be able to happen this year because of the quick turnarounds that we are going to have to do to get ourselves prepared to head to California. You know, Florida is one thing. We can make something work for Florida. Atlanta, we can make things work for Atlanta. California is a whole lot harder to try to squeeze people in last minute. So we are really pretty much looking at you top 4, you're in. You don't top 4, I'm really sorry. You know, hopefully, you know, that encourages you know, now to be ready for April, you know, can kind of be there. Because I would love to have a 100 success high school success rate. I mean, that would be amazing. You don't hear that ever, and the fact that we've done it as a middle school twice now it's awesome. So what are we looking at on dates? We would be leaving out on June 27th, coming home on July 3rd. Now the actual conference dates, if you went to the website, says June 29th through July 2nd, but let's talk about why our dates are just a little bit different there. June 27th is a travel day. Yes, we're gaining a couple of hours by going to California, but at the same time, you know, I am booking whatever flights we can get the cheapest. So sometimes that is us leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes that is us leaving at 7 p.m. at night. Whatever our cheapest rate is what I typically try to go with. You know, it can lead to some long travel days. The flight time, well, I've got that in a little bit. We'll talk about flight times later. June 28th is our fun day. We always go a day, not counting the travel day, a day early so that we can explore and do something fun while we are at the location for nationals. And I'm not meaning not to turn to you, I'm sorry. Just trying to stay with the cameras. So fun day, it's Anaheim. Most of you have probably already put 2 and 2 together, know exactly what we were looking at for our fun day. Beach. No, that's wrong. There's going to be a big set of beers involved. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. June 29th, testing prelims for high school, speaking prelims for the middle school, state meeting, opening session. It is a full afternoon typically for the middle school. High school is a little bit easier that afternoon. That night is booked. June 30th, that is the big day for everybody. That is where the middle school is doing all their objective testing. That is where the high school is doing most of their other everything else.
Speaking pre-lines?
It is a get there at 8 a.m. and some of us aren't leaving until 6 p.m. You know, for the advisor who's there from start to finish, it is a long day. Students usually doing workshops. I mean, this is the work day for the conference. This is the one day that I'm saying we are busy from pretty much start of the day to finish. And I'm looking around at my people who's been before. This is the hard day, isn't it?
It's the tiring day.
It's the tiring day. I've got pictures of some of them sprawled out in chairs at the convention center asleep, waiting for people to come out of competitions. It's a long day. July 1st, finals. That is middle school and high school finals. And then that evening is pretty well open for us. July 2nd, we have a free day all day long until awards that night. And then we travel home on the 3rd.
329.
Oh yeah, July 329th. I mean, that, what a date that is.
Got a lot of open time though.
It's been a long day, y'all.
That's my favorite day.
July 329. On that fictional day we come home, we may just stay in California at that point. Again, that is a longer travel day because now we are losing 2 hours. So where it's like, oh, well, we left at 6 and we got there at 10. I mean, that was fast on the way there. On the way home, you leave at 8, you get home at midnight. 8 a.m. midnight, sorry. You know, it is a long travel day. So with the schedule, we start looking at cost. And that is one of the big reasons why we're here today is because I wanted to make sure everybody understood what we're looking at for costs for this trip. Like I said, it's Anaheim. It's the expensive year. Now, for those of you who've not been with me before, I always estimate high. For I can come back later and say, hey, it didn't cost as much, the price goes down. The worst thing in my mind is sit back and be planning for $1 amount, just be hit with something that's a lot higher later on. So I always estimate high and hope that I am wrong and things are lower afterwards. Registration for the past 2 conferences has been at $195. So I'm hoping that stays consistent, it stays at $195. Now, if you are a first place winner in your event at the state conference, this is middle school and high school. If you're a first place winner, you are going to get some money taken off of your registration fee. It used to be they pay the entire registration fee if you were the first place winner. After nationals went up on the cost, the state could not do that. So the state last year implemented a new rule. As far as we know, will be in effect again this year. If you're a first place winner at state, your state registration fee will automatically be applied to your national registration fee. So the $75 that you would pay for state, you deduct that right off of your $195, so your registration is down to $120 if you are a first place winner. If you are on a team, every team member gets that registration drop. Not just one person or it being split however many ways, everybody is entitled to that reimbursement there. That comes right off from the State Department, so we don't have to worry about paying anything up front and then getting a check back or anything like that. It is a straight up, okay, hey, you're at 120, you're at 195. Flights. This is going to be the biggest variable cost. I've been looking at flights constantly over the past few months just to see. We will know who our state winners are and who will be advancing in April. So I'm like, okay, so if we know in April, we should be able to book flights by the end of April. That will give us about a week and a half turnaround to say who is definitely going, let's get moving with this. I went ahead and looked 2 months in advance, which put us right around mid-January. If I tried to go, which you can look at flights now for June, they are about as low as you can get because it's so far out, they're giving it to you at base price. When it comes time for us to start booking for nationals, so will everybody in Tennessee. So these prices are going to be jumping and going all over the place. My plan is for us to fly into Santa Ana, John Wayne International. That's where we've gone before. It is a smaller airport. It is easier to navigate through. Looking at a Friday flight coming back on a Thursday, that is that top number there. My little pointer isn't working. There's my mouse. But right now we're looking at 511 round trip ticket. And that is with us leaving at 8 in the morning, going there, and leaving at 9:30 in the morning, coming back. Notice. Oh, okay, so we're talking almost 8 hours on the way there. Reality, it's 6. On the way back, we're leaving at 9:30 in the morning. We don't land in Nashville until 6 p.m. that night. Like I said, it is a long travel day. Jet lag is real. Just because we've done LA a few times, I went ahead and threw LAX on there. LAX is actually a little bit cheaper. You are looking at $30 cheaper per person. But now you're dealing with LAX. So sometimes, yes, that $30 difference, once you start timesing it by, even 20, 30 people, I mean, you're talking almost a $900 difference in fundraising. But LAX. LA Freeway trying to get this many people from LA to Anaheim. Sometimes that $30 difference is okay. But we will look at that, especially once we know how many exactly have qualified for nationals. I went ahead because I'm estimating high and because I know we're going to be in a battle with other schools trying to get tickets. I went ahead and threw a $600 estimate on there. Again, estimating high. Hopefully it's not that high. But I think we did this, Thomas, Peyton, both names. It's been a long day. We did this back in August at the high school, and wasn't it somewhere closer to 550, 560 when we did that there? So like I said, it's all over the place. Found out today, the top dollar hotel at Nationals will be at $300. That is with taxes and fees included. Do I expect us to be at the top hotel in Anaheim? No. We are not Georgia, which has the largest membership in the nation. We are not the host state of California. They will get the top hotels. We will get something a little further down the list. But since the top price is $300, I'm listing $300. We will know by state what hotel we get. Now, unlike state where it is a lottery and we pick one or two and we hope we get something we've picked, we are assigned our hotel by nationals. So national FBLA will say this is where you stay, and we have no option but to stay at that hotel. Last year, our state advisor was like, hey, we're going to pick this hotel here, but if we fill up all the conference hotels, here's a different hotel I'm going to suggest if you want to go and talk to them about a contract. We as Tennessee will be more than happy to go to the spillover hotel if you want us to. Well, the spillover hotel ended up being the Cabana Bay Universal Resort Hotel, which was, in my mind, nicer than any other hotel we could have gotten into. So we had direct park access, or we took the shuttle right across the road. There was reasonably priced food, locations inside of the hotel that we could eat at our will. 2 theme park sized pools with water slides, and it was a nice spillover hotel. Whether he has something in the works like that for Anaheim or not, I can't disclose that information right now. Hopefully we get a spillover hotel. Again, rooms, we want to put 4 to a room. We don't know what our numbers are going to be going in. So again, we will look at 4 to a room, but when I priced it out on our totals here, I went 3 to a room just again to have that maximum dollar amount. We always drop in about $40 for shuttles and Ubers because, again, school bus to the airport, school bus back. Again, CTE has been very nice to pay for that the past several years. They even paid for the bus when they drove us all the way down to Atlanta that year. So, hopefully that comes through for us again. But when you get to California, you gotta find a way from the airport to the hotel. Sometimes we want to get out of that little area that we're in to find, somewhere different to eat or something else to do. So we factor in some Uber and transportation costs just so we have that wiggle room to be able to make those decisions and not kind of be handcuffed with what we actually have in the account. So, once you put all that together, registration at the highest value, flight at the highest value, the hotel split at the highest value, we're got a high estimate of $1,430. I would like to estimate, and this is the reason why it's not in writing and recording, ignore me when I say this. I would like to estimate that number is going to be closer to 12. But until we know, I always go high. This also does not include the food while we are there or any of the fun activities we do while we are there. I was fortunate enough to get to go to a state leaders conference back at the beginning of August. And I happened to walk by a McDonald's and I just kind of decided to take a quick peek at it was a Hardee's. I decided to take a quick peek at the prices at Hardee's, and just, before you can have that comparison, where's my little picture here? I meant to put it on the slideshow for dramatic effect, but there's my Disney pictures to do. Where are you? There it is. A 5-piece chicken tender combo from Hardee's, $15.39. Yes.
It's exactly $7.93 here. I ate one for lunch.
McDonald's Big Mac combo,
Oh.
$14.18. I don't eat at McDonald's, so I can't tell you what it is here, but I guarantee it's not $14.
No.
California is expensive. So again, looking at food, it's going to be a little bit higher. Fun activity. So all I've heard since I said Anaheim is Disneyland, 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 Disneyland. It's Disneyland. It's the original theme park. Disney's expensive. One day park hopper pass, $234. Now I could not get it all the way to summer, but they only allow you to book out through April. So I went with I ended up clicking on a Thursday because it was tier 3, which is their highest tier. So park hopper, one day, $234. That's a lot for a fun day. But it is where all the kids want to go. And I am not the type of person to want to deny, the kids a trip to Disneyland. A lot of them been to Disney World. But, Disneyland, it's the original. It's special. California Adventure is right across the walkway. I mean, you can look at the gates to both parks. You can walk from the back of Disneyland to the back of California Adventure in 27 minutes. And that is checking out of one park and checking into the other park. So, I mean, when you think Disney World, and as massive as that place is, this is not nearly as big. I have on here a 3-day park hopper pass. This is what I did while I was in Anaheim back for that state leaders meeting. It would cost me $459 for 3 days. As you saw from the schedule, we have a full free day on the awards night. We have a full evening and night on, I think, that Monday night we are there. That is more than 8+ hours that we have free to be able to go and do things. Orlando last year, I think the high school went to SeaWorld one day, and had to figure out how to get transportation and all that set up to get over there. The middle school, we went to Main Event, you know, a little entertainment venue that had bowling and laser tag and stuff, but trying to get, how many did we have? Do you remember? 25,
Probably around
26,
25,
24? Trying to get that many people across Orlando proved to be a challenge.
IHOP was bad too.
Yeah, trying to go out to eat was bad. I mean, it was rough on trying to travel that many people. The only thing close to our hotel blocks, entertainment value-wise, is Disney. So for about an extra $100 per trip, you can bump it up to a 3-day pass. Again, that is a big number, but it is something I want you to tuck into the back of your mind and think about between now and April. And we will talk about that then. This bottom part is nowhere near set in stone.
Yes, sir.
Top part, yeah, we're going to Disney.
Okay. Sorry.
He's
He's
on
like,
board.
sign me up, we're going. All right. It's a lot of dollars I'm throwing at you. A lot of high dollar amounts. We fundraise. And we try to fundraise as much as humanly possible. A few years ago when we went to Chicago, I don't think anybody had to pay anything out of pocket outside of registration. Oh, let me flip that around. Registration, flights, hotel, we completely fundraise the entire cost for Chicago at the middle school level. The only thing,
No, we had to pay like $500 or $600 base to go to Chicago, and you covered all of the flights and registration, but we had to pay for hotels still.
okay,
Yeah, that could be.
okay. Then it was maybe Atlanta that we covered, we got the entire
yeah.
cost done for Atlanta. It was one of those two that we fundraised the entire amount.
Yeah, there was one of them.
It was one of them. And we try to fundraise for hotel, transportation, and registration. If we fundraise extra, then I can try to buy some food for everybody with it. But the fun stuff and souvenirs and all that, that is usually out-of-pocket expense. So, what are we looking at fundraising? As I've said earlier, I'm now splitting my time between the high school and the middle school chapter. What are we doing on both ends? Let me talk middle school first. We just wrapped up our butter braid sale. We had one student who fundraised enough that his entire state is already done just off of butter braids. In fact, he's already got money going towards nationals based off of that one fundraiser. We will also be doing Domino's cards, which I'll go ahead and talk about now. This will be done at both the middle school and the high school level. I've already got the approval from the high school. It is signed off. I wasn't here today to see if it's been signed off on the middle school level yet, but it will. So in January, the middle school will get them on the 14th. We will have a high school meeting on the 15th of January. I will hand out the order forms and stuff for the Domino's cards. The way the Domino's cards work is it is $20 a card. We get 50% profit. The card is essentially a buy one, get one free. And it's not buy, a pizza and then get a one topping medium or anything. It is equal value. So you order a large Supreme, you can get a large Supreme. You order a large meat, you can get a large Hawaiian. I mean, it is equal value, and that card is good for a calendar year. So the fact that we are doing ours in January sets it to run for the maximum amount of time. And again, this is both the high school and the middle school getting to do this simultaneously. For the few of you who have children at both schools, I'm sorry. But this one was too good for me to pass up and only hold it to one school. So for middle school, these are our two big events to fundraise for state. After that, whatever is still owed, I'll be asking for that payment to come in. Nationals. We're nationals heavy on the middle school side. We will have our Sundrop sale. It's tentatively scheduled. I'm waiting for final approval from Sundrop before I can say anything there. But we've got to do that one. We will do Sonic cards. The middle school has the exclusive rights to the Sonic cards based off of the history that we've had with Sonic here. We will have our trivia night, which I will talk about trivia in a little bit. We'll end up doing some car washes, and of course we'll be asking businesses for donations. We are also running the basketball concession stand here. We get a cut of the concession stand money to go back to the middle school program. We manage it and run it, and we do a split with the basketball teams on the profits from that. I get to use those for extra costs here that I never want to have to put on y'all. So a lot of times study materials, if I've got extra there, I end up buying meals for the kids. So I mean, it goes back to them. And so far we've had 3 games, and we've had students who were here and worked all the games. So I mean, I thank you for allowing them to be here. We're letting the high school members come over and be our high school people in the booth. They are earning community service hours with whatever organization they're trying to get them for. I sign off on it, no questions asked. All right, on the high school side, at some point in time, y'all are gonna get to sell suckers. You say that and it's like, okay, we're gonna raise money on suckers. How many suckers do you have to sell? Well, let me, real quick. The previous advisor, Ms. Valerie Robertson, used to fund her entire year, state and a chunk of nationals, based off of those lollipops.
When are they doing that one?
That's a question.
Oh, okay.
That I'm waiting to get an answer to. Last year, they ordered them. They did not sell well. I don't know, what happened on that end to cause that sale not to go over. But like I said, for years, she funded her entire year off of lollipops.
This was the year they made 12 grand off of them.
Yeah.
Do that again.
Yeah.
Okay. You and Hayden, do that again.
He has been able to see finances for the past decade. There was a year they pulled 12 grand on lollipops.
Let's do that.
But it takes drive to do it. Trivia night. How many of you knew we had a trivia night scheduled in October?
I did.
Yeah, so we have done a West Middle School trivia night in May the past several years, and when you combine the trivia night plus the silent auction that goes with it, we're banking anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 on one night. It is a good night. We set that up. We got permission to have it at the high school. We set it for October the 26th. It was a Saturday. It was the night after homecoming. Tennessee did not have a football game that day. I figured this was a great time to do this. We pushed out the information to the chapter, and the Monday before the event, we had 5 trivia teams committed. Those 5 trivia teams are trivia teams that I normally see every Wednesday night at El Costel. Now, technically 2 of you are here tonight because you're part of the organization, but I was still counting you as my trivia teams from El Costel. We had nobody else committed. We had to cancel the event. Well, we have postponed the event because we can't do that with 5 teams. The idea, we put flyers up all around the school. That was great. That was great in-school advertising. However, you are not getting your trivia teams from the high school kids. These are adult teams that you've got to go out and find and recruit and pull them together. Farrah Elementary School has a big trivia night, usually in February, and they pull in the same type of dollars, if not more, because of some corporate sponsorships they get. these can be very profitable events. But we are starting to run out of time at the high school level to get to have this. Coach Hyden has asked if we could try to do it in December. I was like, okay, we can Christmas theme the trivia. I've got those shows, I can do that. What night is available? I've yet to hear a date. Now, you've got Christmas parade. That takes out that Friday night, that's gone. You've got the breakfast with Santa date. That's a Saturday, although it's breakfast, it's that morning. People aren't gonna spend all day doing everything. They're gonna get out that morning, they're gonna call it an evening early. That Saturday is gone. I know there is a big band and choral event that is one weekend somewhere in
The
December.
weekend of the 14th.
Which I think is also breakfast with Santa.
So
Unless
it's,
it's the 7th.
Breakfast
It's
Santa's
the 7th. Oh, okay.
It's always the
it's
morning.
Yeah.
off the calendar. So in my mind, we're running out of dates. I'm not at the high school. I can't make things happen at the high school from here. I can send all the emails and make all the requests I want, but I'm waiting for them to give me something. As soon as I get that date, I want to try this again. The plan is barbecue dinner. At last comment I heard from Coach Hyden, he said he may have a sponsor that can cover the food. I don't know if that is all the food or if that's the meat, the main items, and us chip in with the smaller things. I don't know. It kind of we stopped that conversation once we had to cancel the event or postpone the event. But as soon as I find out something, there will be new flyers, new handouts. They will be given to the members at the high school. Ask them about it.
Did you say that you were gonna start sending emails to the parents? Cause like I
The-
knew about the October thing, but I knew about it 2 days before it was supposed to happen.
I can add parents to my email list if you would like.
That's why I was collecting email
Okay.
addresses from y'all when you came in,
Okay.
for I can have a email list myself.
That would be helpful.
Again, this is the reason why we're having this meeting. That is a big number, and I wasn't sure how many of you were aware of that number. You know, I've kind of pitched it to the students back, I think, when we met in either August or September. These were ballparks. I don't know how much of that made it home. And it's going to be y'all that's going to be the ones that put these events on. Y'all are the ones that's going to have to talk to friends and family and try to get people to come. It's, you know, I hope they go out and work and ask, but ultimately they're going to need y'all's help to make this happen. So again, big reason why talk about this now. And again, Domino's cards. Nationals, while we're doing Sundrop, I'm hoping to get a Coca-Cola sale on the high school side for we're not selling the same thing. We had the butter braids here in the fall. Some group at the high school has claimed the butter braids for the spring. I think it was maybe the band or somebody like that. So,
The choir.
The
does it.
choir.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
It's all the choir's fault. So the company that does the butter braids also does cake rolls. I've already asked to have the cake rolls, with the company during the same period of time. So y'all will be doing that. And then of course donations. We've already had a Fan Frenzy event that went with homecoming that brought in some money. But again, once we can figure out the sucker thing, that is going to be, if it's happened before, it can definitely happen again. Again, I'm not at the high school. That is a fundraiser that's going to have to occur on property. So that is going to have to be my other half organizing and trying to make that happen. Playoffs start tomorrow. Maximum number of weeks for playoffs is what, 3? 5. I will not comment.
We'll be lucky.
Now, business donations. I had it listed on both organizations. When we get ready for nationals, one of the biggest ways of getting this paid for is local business donations. We have got to find a way of splitting it between the middle school and the high school. Up until last year, the middle school was the only one that went out and asked for business donations because the high school had other means of getting to fundraise. I've been told that no, we've got to find a way of splitting them. We are still trying to find out the perfect way of doing that. I've got 6 months to figure it out. But right now, the biggest idea that's been pitched is a draft lottery. We work on putting every business that we can find in Tullahoma on a big board. You come in, draw out a number. Whoever draws out number 1 gets their first pick of the business. Number 2 pick, 3 pick. You know, those of you who play fantasy football, you know exactly what I'm talking about for a draft lottery. And then after 2 weeks, if somebody has not gone to their business, it's fair game to whoever can get there. Again, we're working out the best way of doing this. That's been an idea that's been pitched. If you have better ideas, I'm open to hear them. When it comes to fundraising, you sell it, you earn it. In most cases, since you are selling product, it is you who is going out, or the student who is going out, knocking on doors, posting on social media, hitting up friends and family. If you're selling it, in my mind, you should be getting it. I don't like this, oh, it all goes into a pool and everybody gets a little sliver, and then somebody who worked their butt off gets the same amount as somebody who didn't do jack. So it is harder to keep up with, but as we do fundraising, as we are able to get those profit analysis set up, we have got a spreadsheet where we are keeping track of what everybody's profit lines are. So as you earn it, right now, it's going into the state fund. So when it comes time for state, we will pull that amount out first. If there's still stuff left over, great. It's banked for nationals. The exception to this is the trivia night. That is a whole chapter donation, or that's a whole chapter profit. It gets split to anybody who shows up and works the event. I call it all hands. So anybody who shows up to works it gets a cut. There's usually a silent auction that goes along with it. If you have a silent auction item donated, you brought it in, you get the money from the sale. If I had somebody last school year on the middle school side, they paid their entire Orlando trip off of the silent auction by itself. So it's doable. Here, and I did not put this on the slide, I meant to, but here is the unpopular statement I'm going to also have to make. While we are setting up accounts directly for your particular fundraising, you are still fundraising for West Middle School FBLA, Tullahoma High School FBLA. We are saying we're putting it under your name, but it is still donation, or it is still fundraising for the chapter. And this is where what I'm going to say is going to be unpopular. Since it is chapter fundraising, if you do not advance past state conference and you do not place in the top 4 and your journey is over at that point, anything left that was kind of earmarked for you rolls into the chapter fund. We cannot sit back and hold it into account and say, well, maybe next year, well, what do we do for the seniors? Hey, I want a check where I can take the rest of mine with me. We can't do that. So you are fundraising for whatever organization with hopes that you are going to be using that amount for the next level. That also gives an incentive to our members to work hard and place at state. Hopefully that is enough of an incentive to say, hey, I've already done all this fundraising. I'm a quarter of the way there already. I probably should study for this event a little bit. So, but that is how we are doing rollover funds as it goes into the chapter. And then that chapter money again gets spent for food or something that would benefit the chapter itself. Hey, you know what? we've got enough here, we can cover everybody's transportation costs. Once we get there, we can knock that Uber and bus money off. That was a whole lot of information that I just threw at you at one time. I will say we will have an actual state meeting before state. We will have a meeting the week after we come back from national, or no, the week we come right back from state. We come back from state on that Wednesday. That following Tuesday night, we'll have a meeting because we will need to know if you are wanting to go to nationals or if they are going to nationals at that point in time. Just because you qualify for state does not require you to have to go to nationals. You can always say, you know what, I'm glad we made it to this point. We're done for the year. Am I going to think anything less? Absolutely not. I'm not going to harbor any resentment, any grudges. I will welcome you right back to FBLA next year with wide open arms. You know, if that is, you know, the family decision, it is. Now, if it is ever a thing about, you know, the cost of the conference, you know, if that is the overall thing of, you know, there's just no way we could afford a $1,400 hit. I know we've done some fundraising, but I just don't know. Talk to me before you say we're dropping out. There are things that can be done. Can I do it for 40 people? It's Anaheim year. No. But I do want to have that money conversation with you before you decide no. I am wide open for any questions of any kind. State, nationals, fundraising, dates, events, ideas. Y'all, go. Surely there is something.
Could the high school trivia night be the weekend after Thanksgiving?
That is too quick of a turnaround right now because that is what, about 3 weeks?
That's about 3 weeks, yeah.
And that's the weekend of the parade.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
no.
That is the weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the,
'Cause
Yeah,
it's first
Thanksgiving.
Friday
Good
of
Friday
December.
is the parade, or not Good Friday, Black Friday's the parade?
no, no,
No.
no.
Oh no,
Oh,
we're not doing an event on Black Friday. You can forget
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Even I am not wanting to attend on Black Friday. I'm sorry, there is Best Buys to be at 4 a.m.
You don't do everything online anymore?
I'm old school. I like fighting the lines, which are non-existent anymore because everybody's buying it online. So that means I get to walk right into that store and go straight to that TV that I don't need.
You didn't touch on chaperones.
Chaperones, thank you. Y'all mind if I sit down up here? Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on frame. All right, chaperones. Middle school. We will need parent chaperones for state. I've not received our number allocation yet. Usually we're allowed 1 to 2 parents to get to come along with us. If you're interested in being a parent chaperone for the middle school, shoot me an email, let me know. I will have our definite numbers come the meeting we have in January. The only thing I have to say about the chaperoning on the middle school end is we can't pay for your way. So we might be able to wiggle something about a connecting room and, you know, oh, your student is rooming with you and we can cover a little bit of it, but you are kind of expected to have to pay your own stuff chaperoning. And unfortunately that is a school district type of rule, not a FBLA Frank McKemmack type of rule. High school level, no parent chaperones on the high school level. So usually it's a male advisor, a female advisor, or somebody who's already in the school system that goes along there. Nationals. I would love for you to come with us to nationals. I've had several parents who are in here who's been before. 1, 2, 3, I think 3 of y'all have been to nationals with us before.
Jay went, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't go, Jay.
Yeah,
went. So, okay, 2 of y'all in here, but 3 who's been. It's fun.
Yeah.
We have a good time, and you know, while there's a lot of work going on, you know, we do have a lot of fun while we're down there. We get out, we explore. You You know, my constant thing is, hey, you know, try new things. We're in a new place, try something different. No, we're not going to McDonald's because we have one of those at home. They have an In-N-Out though. Let's try that. When it comes to nationals, like I said, you are invited to come. I can kind of book you into group travel with us, so I can be able to get you your hotel rooms at the FBLA group rate. We do ask you, if you are going as a chaperone, to sign up to be an FBLA judge while you're there. You get to go, you get to judge one of the events at either the high school or middle school level. Mr. Henry, I believe you got to do that a couple years ago. Was it an enjoyable experience?
That was fun.
So you do that one session, it pays for that $195 registration fee. They waive that if you judge.
That's all I do.
And I can also book your flights in with us when I do the flight plans. Usually when we do flights, I'm a big Southwest guy, bags fly free, so usually it winds up being cheaper than other airlines just because of that. I go through group travel, I book the number of tickets. The school system reimburses me back for the kids' flights, and y'all write me a check directly, and you don't have to worry about any hassle on your end. And I do this just to keep everything easy, and I do group the high school and the middle school flight stuff together. It is one big group flight plan for all of us. District was going, why do you do this? I go, because it's cheaper and easier for me to control everything in one spot than you having a flight plan and you having a flight plan, and oh, you got bumped off because your group of 4 didn't make the plane, but as one group, everybody goes. They do not bump from groups. But we'll have better numbers and better understanding of that again as we get to April. But yes, chaperones, if you want to come with us, come on, turn it into a family vacay. We can make it happen.
Now,
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even raise my hand. You go.
I was just gonna mention, for people who may be relatively new to FBLA, another thing we need to kind of start shopping for is some dress clothes, because you will need kind of, for guys, like a suit to wear. And, I've been doing this with Joan and my son for many years, and so he's outgrown a lot of those jackets or pants, and we don't realize it till, it's a couple weeks away, so shopping Goodwill is always good.
Yep.
And maybe we can even coordinate some sort of everybody put in anything that's dress clothes that doesn't fit anymore. Maybe it'll help somebody else out. I'd love to, be able to coordinate something like that. But
Yep.
be starting to shop for things or looking for things that might be reasonably priced now.
At the base level on guy wear, dress shoes, khakis, button-up shirt, tie is required, suit jacket is not. That was something in the dress code that was finally verified
At state and nationals?
at state and nationals.
Okay.
Now, does it look better to have a suit jacket, especially if you're going in and talking in front of judges? Yes. Does it look better if you were on stage accepting an award being in a suit jacket? Yes. But the year that they had nationals in Atlanta, there was a lot of argument about, well, it's
Yeah.
not a suit, it's a suit. Well, in the South, this is what we wear as our business attire.
Yeah.
So they finally stated dress jackets are not required, but are recommended. Girls dress, it's all over the place. I'm not the girl dress code guy.
I have been talking with Miss Robinson. She's gonna try to come into the high school one day to talk about girl dress code
Oh, cool.
for like a state meeting or something.
Very nice. Like that. Yes.
If you go as a chaperone, do you have to do the background check?
Yes. So the background check, good question. If you go as a chaperone, do you have to have a background check? The answer to that is yes, because in most cases you are going to be left alone with a student who is not yours. Now when we go to nationals, we can talk about that, because in a lot of cases you'll be with a group and that may not necessarily be required. But in the event like state, yes, because you'll be entrusted with a certain group of kids. We have gone back and forth as a district on who is paying for that. The school system has paid for a lot of them, but they are also starting to crack down on some like one-day trips of, sorry, if it's only one day, they pay for it themselves. So I will get an answer to that question.
And how long are they on file if you've already had one? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay. Cause I had
But-
one last year or the year before, but I don't remember.
We are subjected to the same background check rules as y'all are.
Is it 5?
This is year 7,
Oh.
and I think I did one last year, so maybe
Okay.
it's good for 5 or 6
okay.
years.
5 is what sounded right to me, but okay.
Yeah, great question that I didn't even think of.
Yeah, no, this one's like 5, I think.
Other questions?
This one you have to adjust.
No, you didn't go to the shooting range. That's where I had mine.
State in Chattanooga is at the Chattanooga Convention Center downtown. Last year, the high school stayed at the Marriott, which was attached to the convention center, so they never actually left the building itself. The middle school stayed at the Stay Bridge, which was right across the road, so we just literally crossed the street and we was in the convention center. Everything is housed in the convention center. The only time we leave that area is if we want to go find something else to eat a little closer to the aquarium, which typically we do that Sunday evening, and if we have a chance, that Monday evening in between the events and the social events. All right. Well, I've kept it to the hour I was expecting to have. Thank you all so much. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, stick around. I will answer any individual questions you have.
Why don't you guys look at January the 11th?
Butter braids, they are already